So, very different race. This is the Fawley Challenge Cup. Again, this is a schoolboys race. We've seen that in the Princess Elizabeth Cup, but this is a completely different boat. There are 4 boys, but they have got 2 blades each, so they are sculling. And for those of you that don't know the sport, we'll explain a little more about what that means down the course. But first of all, who's rowing in this race? On the right of your screen, the camera is looking at Y Quad Cities Rowing Association from the USA. First time I've seen them at Henley. They're from the Midwest. But wait with interest to see how they get on. And on the Berkshire station with the red blades, that's on the left of your screen as you look at it, the boys from Kingston Rowing Club, who've done a fantastic job to get this far. So Kingston Rowing Club on the left, waiting for the start, and Y Quad Cities of the USA on the right. Mark, 1 blade, 2 blades each. What's going on?
Yeah, we've got 2 blades in this event, so it's a sculling event, and each athlete will have a blade in each hand. And the events you've seen previous are rowing events with 1 blade, so the athlete will have 1 blade, and that's called rowing.
Is it harder if you've got 2 blades? I mean, you have to be better, like technically, as a sculler than a rower.
As a sculler myself, I will say you have to be more technical, but that will be unfair to the sweep guys. Now, they're both technical sports in their own right. There's a different feel and different sensation to the 2 different sports. So, yeah, but this is a prestigious event at Henley. You've got it's no composites allowed, so it's just 1 club or 1 school in the event. And what's also daunting for the Kingston boys is that they would never have seen the American crew. So normally when you're racing a British crew, you would know the guys and what they can do. But this is into the unknown. So they'll have their own race plan, what they want to go out and achieve and do for this particular race.
You can hear Richard Phelps, the umpire, in his distinctive voice. I mean, if you weren't feeling goosebumps before, then that's going to really bring them up, isn't it?
That's always a nervous thing, sitting on the start, waiting to go when the umpire says this.
So we're hearing there was a bit of a delay for some debris on the course, but the start is imminent. The Americans from Y Quad City on the right, Kingston Rowing Club on the left of your screen.
Attention! Go!
And as the schoolboys look behind them, they will see the umpire lower his flag on the go, and they will blast into action. And straight as a die, the Y Quad City crew from the USA on the right just go down that Buckinghamshire station.
Yeah, that was a great start by the crew on that side. They went out the blocks, they looked very slick, moving together. Another thing, a key element of this is we talked about in the Cox's fours, is that the quad, you have to steer the boat with your foot. So one of these guys in the boat will be steering the boat with their foot. And in this particular event, you always want to get inside the booms, and once you're in the booms, you kind of feel safe because you know you can't hit them then, or you shouldn't be hitting them.
So we've got a great shot there. Crew number 358, Y Quad Cities Rowing Association. The Americans had a fantastic start, but it's the boys from Kingston Rowing Club in red and white hoops at the top of your screen. They have a lead at the moment, probably something like half a length as we come into the first minute of this race, and that's a great tracking shot, isn't it, Mark? Yeah, that's a great shot from the side. And the thing about these 2 crews, they're exactly the same average weight. So the athletes in the boat get weighed in before they race, or a day before, and the average weight of both crews is 11 stone 13. So there is nothing between them. It'll be a technical thing that's the difference between these 2 crews, or the program they follow, or the mindset these athletes have. What I love about that Kingston crew is there are a lot of local lads in the crew. Josh Burrows in the bow from Hinchley Wood School, and Matt Rowe from Teddington School, which is really just over the river, Teddington School from Kingston Rowing Club. And it's great to see that club promoting local young talent coming through the club system as opposed to the school system. Yeah, this is what I love, is when you come to Henley, you get the schools racing the clubs, and this is what these guys would love. They go to schools, they don't have the luxury of being able to row while they're in PE lessons at school, and they come to Henley and they get the chance to take down the big schools. Yeah, fantastic. And there we're looking at the Y Quad Cities quad, and Matthew Doyle with the very distinctive headband. He hopes to be going to Princeton, or he will be a freshman at Princeton University next year, so it's likely that he'll be carrying on in the sport, but he's got a lot of work to do as we see the shot back. Very impressive, that beautiful yellow distinctive steering mark as the umpires launch in the centre. The American crew slightly down on the Kingston crew that we can see there. There's the close-up mark.
That's what I love about the shot from the distance, is you get to see how much space is actually in between the booms. You know, you could actually fit another boat in there, but I know athletes probably wouldn't want that, but while you're racing, it doesn't seem like you have that much space.
And didn't they row 3 abreast for the Olympic Games in 1948? Wasn't that? Yeah, wasn't that?
Yeah, back in the day they did have 3 abreast, you know, and I'm sure there was some blade clashing that you probably see in the boat race and those sort of events.
These are half men now, like 2 abreast, it's easy compared to what it used to be in those days.
Yeah, very much so, but I'm sure if you speak to these youngsters, they'll be like, there's no way there's going to be a boat between us 2 in this race.
By the way, if you're watching that, if you're the parents of Kingston Rowing Club or Whitequad Cities, your lads are amazing, not half men, and the pressure they're under here is immense. And the Kingston quad are delivering, steering right down the booms, and their coach Dan O'Dowd is going to be very pleased with that. It's a very straight line that they're steering, and well, Whitequad Cities haven't let them go. Kingston Rowing Club, of course, had to come through the qualifiers to this event, but they're steering straight as a die right on those booms.
Yeah, and sometimes doing the qualifiers can be a positive. You know, people love to get automatic kind of selection into the regatta, but sometimes to actually race down the course and actually experience what it's like, understand where the markers are, put a race plan together, can sometimes come into your benefit when you come into the regatta itself.
So this is going to be a close race. I did think Kingston were going to perhaps walk away, and well, if anyone thought the bow Josh Burrows in the Kingston boat, just checked. No, Whitequad Cities haven't left you, and 4 boys from that crew. So we go stroke Matt Doyle at 3, Justin English. At 2, it's Tony Rammick, and then Mikey Trahan.
Oh, this is a fantastic race. Both crews side by side. You can hear the crowd kind of getting into the race now. They're kind of knocking chunks out of each other, and you know, this is what's great about Henley, the one-on-one racing. You know, it's such a mental game out there.
So that's a really distinctive move that the Whitequad Cities quad have made. They've really laid down the hammer, and Kingston Rowing Club looks so smooth, steering so straight, but I mean, what went on there, Mark?
Yeah, they just really committed to that move, and Kingston didn't respond to it. Maybe their race plan is to save a bit to later on. They seem to be underrating the other crews, so hopefully they've got a few gears to come as they come to the enclosures.
So this Whitequad Cities crew from the Midwest region, they rode in the Midwest Championships, and there'll be nothing like this in the Midwest of America. They have made a race-winning move. I guess there's probably about 400, 500 metres to go, and led by their stroke man, who we've been talking about down the course, Matthew Doyle, Justin English behind him, it's Alan, not Tony Romack, and then Mike Trahan. That's a shot of the Whitequad Cities crew from the USA. And what do you say about their technique in terms of sculling, Mark? I mean, how's it held up?
Yeah, it's pretty good. There seems to be one guy he seems to be out of sync a little bit. I think he's at 2 or 3 in the middle of the boat. But you know, they're moving together, and they're dominating. Well, they're winning the race, which is important, and they're committing to the moves that they made. So that big move they made in the kind of middle part of the race, they're really committed to. I just hope it hasn't taken too much out.
Coached, of course, by Dr. Peter Sharis. Fantastic crew that he's prepared. It's very, very difficult to come over from the States. And Kingston Rowing Club, well, their technique is holding up. They've kept that pace all the way down, but I think they've been unable to change it to react to the American attack, Mark.
Yeah, the Whitequad Cities rowing kind of move at that point has really kind of put the Kingston boys under pressure. And you know, with these youngsters, when they come over from America, it might have been their first time they've kind of travelled and raced, so to understand about how long it takes to acclimatise to the time difference would have been a challenge to them. And I'm sure as the regatta progresses, and if they win this race, they're coming more in tune, and they should hopefully progress as the regatta goes on.
Just looking back at those shots, it looks like the Americans have a far more aggressive front-loaded style than the Kingston crew. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, they look more aggressive. The Kingston crew is probably a little bit rushed into the front, and by rushing to the front, if you rush into the front and you don't connect, then you kick the stern of the boat down, and it just makes it harder to kind of get that speed back up.
So it's the Americans from the Midwest, the Whitequad Cities Rowing Association. Great to see that association do so well at Henley. They have a few strokes to go to the finish line. We look back at their opponents, Kingston Rowing Club, in red and white on the far station. But it's the Americans. They haven't let up all the way. They've driven to the finish, determined not to give Kingston any chink, any light of hope. There they go, Whitequad Cities. Welcome to Henley. Fantastic race. You have done the business. And Kingston Rowing Club sculled a great race too. And there they go, exhaustion. That's what you get to see at Henley when a crew crosses the finish line.